Hello and welcome back to the course. In the previous tutorial, we have mentioned that with the command window, we can perform certain basic math operations. However, you may have noticed over there that we are unable to store the results so that we can use it in the future. In order to store the results of some mathematical complicated operations, we can use the concept of what is called variables. So a variable is a data container which can store the results of mathematical operations. And we can define a variable that starts from a letter, and then we can assign it any value. For instance, a equals to 16 will mean now that the variable a is going to contain a value of 16. So if we write a again, we get the result of 16. That is, the value of 16 is now being assigned to the variable a. Instead of initializing a variable to a certain value, we can also define variables which contains the result of some mathematical operation. So now in this case, the result will be first computed, that is 4 will be multiplied with a value of 2, and now the result will be stored back into the variable a. Right? So now if we write a again, we get a value of 8. In the previous case, it was having a value of 16. So you may notice now that whenever we assign a different value to a, its previous value is overwritten and a new value is being assigned to the same variable. So if we want to hold the previous value as well as we want to assign a new value to a variable, then for that we need to define a new variable, such as we can say b equals to a. Now b contains the copy of a, and a equals to 8, and then when we update the value of a to some other value, let us say 16. So now a contains 16 while b contains its previous value, which is 8. Remember this particular window that is called the workspace? Now, in the previous lecture we mentioned that the workspace is going to contain all the variables that are currently being manipulated by the MATLAB software. So in this case, you may note that we have two variables, variables a and variable b, and the workspace contains information regarding these two variables. That is, variable a, its value is 16, variable b, its value is 8. Let us now learn few of the more commands that are very much frequently used. One of them is called whos. So when we write whos, it is going to display all the variables that are currently being manipulated by the MATLAB and its different statistics. We will cover what is the meaning of these statistics later on, but for now you may note that whenever we are going to write the whos command, the MATLAB is going to display all the variables that are currently being manipulated by the MATLAB. If you want to delete a certain variable, and that may be needed because each and every variable is holding some of our memory resources. So the clear command is going to use for that purpose. So if you want to clear the variable a, and then we write whos again, you may note that the variable a is no more in the workspace, and as a result it is also no more here when we write the whos command. Similarly, if we want to delete all the variables in our workspace, we can say clear all, and it will clear up all the workspace. Now if we write whos, it is not going to display anything to us because there is no variable that is currently being manipulated by the MATLAB. Finally, if you hit the up arrow key on your keyboard and your cursor is here in the command window, then it is going to display the list of all those commands which you have just executed. So it's a kind of a history of all the commands that the MATLAB keeps track of. So, and it also adds a timestamp to all those commands. So this means that all these commands were being executed in this particular session where the MATLAB was being initialized at 4:29 p.m. on the 27th of the August. So later on, if you close it and reinitialize the MATLAB, so then there will be another timestamp over there. Finally, if we want to clear up our screen, then there is a command that is clc, and it is going to clear our screen of the command window. That was it for this particular segment. In the upcoming segments, we are going to cover more interesting stuff regarding MATLAB. Do come back to cover that. Until then, enjoy MATLAB.